Sometimes we need to check more than just two cases. So looking at the code from the last video, we're testing to see if age is greater than or equal to 18 on line 5, and we test the opposite condition, age less than 18, on line 11. In both cases, the condition can be either true or false. If it's true, the code blocks on lines 6 and 7 and line 12 are executed. If the condition evaluates to false, the code in the else block executes. Python lets us test several conditions by using elif. So I'll explain a couple of rules about elif in a moment. Firstly, let's see an example of using it. What I'm going to do is add another condition to the second if statement. So I'm going to come down here to line 12. After line 12, I'm going to do a backspace there. I'm going to type elif space age is equal to, that's two equal signs, 900 colon. And on the indented line, I'm going to type print, in parentheses, double quotes, sorry Yoda, you die in Return of the Jedi. And I've left the final else on line 15. So elif, if you haven't guessed it, is short for else if. The code now checks to see if age is less than 18. If it is, the message on line 12 will be printed. If age isn't less than 18, Python checks the elif condition on line 13. So that'll evaluate to either true or false. If true, we let Yoda know of his demise. We're assuming that anyone who's 900 years old must be Yoda from Star Wars. And if I've just spoiled that movie for you, I do apologise. But moving on, if the age doesn't equal 900, the condition evaluates to false, and Python continues with the else on line 15. Now before I run the program, what I'm going to do is comment out the first if statement on lines 5 through 9. And instead of having to manually go through each line, most IDEs do have a quick way of doing that. So in IntelliJ, I can just select the lines I want to comment out. I'm on Windows, I can do a control /, and it's a command / if you're on a Mac. And the control / will also work on Linux. Right, so that's commented out and now won't execute. So let's run the program. And first I'm going to enter Tim as my name again, which I've been doing. So next we have to enter an age. We've got a few tests to perform, starting with the value less than 18. So let's try that. I'll do 11. And I'll just put the code on screen there so we can see that. So you can see that's less than 18 that I entered, 11, and the code on line 12 was executed. And we got that output, and that's because the condition on line 11 evaluated to a true. And just to be consistent, let's check what happens when I enter an age of exactly 18. Tim and 18. 18, you're old enough to vote. Please put an X in the box. This time the condition on line 11 evaluated to false. Python then checks the elif condition, the else if, on line 13. This also evaluates to false, and therefore line 14 didn't get executed. Instead, Python skipped to the else block. There's no more conditions to check, and none of the ones that were checked were true, so we're left with the else. Lines 16 and 17 were executed, and we get that message that you're old enough to vote and to put an X in the box. And just to confirm, if we run this again, if I enter an age that's greater than 18, we should see the same result. So I'll put, say, 45. Same result as we just talked about when I entered 18. All right, so final test now is to enter 900 to see whether that works. And you can see there, 900, sorry Yoda, you die in Return of the Jedi. So we're getting that message, and that's because the elif, else if, for age is equal to 900, evaluates to true, and line 14 was executed. So all that would be much easier to understand if we could see the computer executing the code line by line. Well, as it happens, we can do that. In the next couple of videos, we're going to have a look at the debugger that's built into the IntelliJ IDEs. We're going to look at the IntelliJ PyCharm debugger in the next video. In the video after that, we'll see how to do the same thing with the debugger that's built into idle. Now, if you're using a different IDE, it probably has a debugger as well. But please don't ask us how to use it. There's literally hundreds of IDEs, and we've chosen to use the JetBrains products for this course. If you use something else, then that's either because you know how to use it, or there's someone in your company who does know. We can't unfortunately provide support for other IDEs, but if it's IntelliJ support you're after, we're quite happy to help you with that. So let's move on now, and I'll see you in the next video.